Right now, you're ever thinking about starting Japanese, that's pretty much how it works. And 2 days ago, I had a conversation with a member of my community, shout out to Seiyan, and basically I realized ways of thinking that I have now which I didn't really know I had. And today I'm going to share with you how should you go about grammar, immersion, and I get this started for you to actually not waste your time. I'm Ivan, I have been studying English for 3+ years, Japanese for 16 months, and as a Galaxy athlete, I want to help language learners who struggle with discipline and consistency. Avoid getting deep into learning grammar. I had this conversation with this member and he basically told me that he didn't really learn any grammar for his 4 languages that he actually was fluent in. And it was actually pretty interesting because even for me, yeah, I learned some grammar at the start, but in reality, I didn't remember it that much when I got to actually do immersion. And most of my grammar, I actually acquired it through pure immersion. So you're not actually going to remember all of the grammar lessons that you memorize till perfection when you're doing your immersion. That's the point I want to get with this. So you want to get just the gist of that piece of grammar, and then when you get the gist, you want to go and do immersion. Even if you learn all of the lessons of that grammar guide that you're reading perfectly, still you're not going to probably acquire the word. Why? Because there's nuance in the grammar rules. There's nuance, right? Like even if in this specific situation this grammar rule applies, in another situation that grammar rule can be totally different, and believe me, you will have to review that grammar lesson again. That's how it works usually. There's literally 3 guys in my Discord server who haven't really done that much grammar. So the first one is the guy I had a conversation with. So basically he knows 4 languages, and for his 4 languages I'm pretty sure he did the same method, which is literally not paying much attention to grammar and just going and doing immersion, just getting the gist of that piece of grammar if you don't really understand it when you're doing your immersion. Then there's this other guy which has like 100 and something days in his Japanese journey, and right now basically he's doing pure reading, and now he has like a 90% of comprehension, 85% of comprehension in ReZero, which is crazy, and he's buying like 100 words daily, 200 words daily. He's studying all of those words, just getting the gist of it, and then he goes and reads a lot. That's how you usually should do it. He literally did not overthink. He literally told me like, I haven't learned any grammar and still I have a 90% of comprehension in these books, and actually ReZero uses a very difficult amount of vocabulary. And then there's this other guy who has like 5 months into his language learning, and he pretty much told too that because he wasn't going to really remember all of the grammar that he was studying, he just literally got to the immersion and learned all of the pieces of grammar that he needed through just immersion. I don't know what else I have to say to convince you that you literally don't need to learn grammar till perfection. You don't need that much hours when you're starting. So this is a mindset that I realized after literally talking with this guy, which is that literally when you're starting, you probably don't even have a 30% of comprehension, and so doing immersion with a 30% of comprehension for like 6 hours would probably just get you bored out. You can, and if you're able to do that, fine, but like you will probably still get bored out if you do this. So what I will do here is that I will focus on learning grammar. So how I will learn grammar through just pure immersion. I will literally get the gist of the piece of grammar, which is the thing that I was saying. Like maybe you want to study it for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you want to go and do immersion until you can acquire that piece of grammar for like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that, right? It will be, you do 15 minutes of learning grammar, which is getting just that gist of the piece of grammar. Maybe you want to get 3 points, 4 points of the piece of grammar, and then you want to do immersion for 14 minutes after, and you do this until you can acquire that piece of grammar. You need to also know this, which is the more you know, the more you need to do if you want to get the same results that you're getting now. Because if you're starting right now and you have maybe 1 month, you know that you actually get a lot of results. You get like these noob gains, which actually do exist. And the more you know, the more you need to do if you want to keep getting these same results. But the more you know, the easier it is to actually do more immersion, because you have all of this access to this content that you could enjoy more. This is the same with grammar, which is that Anki is for getting the gist of the word. So treat immersion as your god. So I joined this server in which there's people learning languages very seriously, but like there's 3 or 2 people in there who do more than 1 hour in Anki, and it's like, brother, you literally already know that Anki doesn't really get you to acquire words. Why are you doing more than 1 hour in Anki? You know that immersion is the thing that will get you to actually learn the language, but you're not treating it as your god. 80 to 90% of the time you have available, you should be doing immersion. Now, there's some exceptions to this, so I really do think that if you just have like 1 hour available in your day, you probably should just to Anki, and in Anki you should use monolingual definitions so you can actually acquire that word, and in those monolingual definitions you're actually going to see example sentences of the word you're studying, so you actually get to actually kind of acquire the word the same as you will do in immersion, right? Because if you don't have that much time, you don't get that much exposure to the words that you're studying in Anki, and so just studying the gist of the word if you don't have that much time will not really work that much. There's also nuance in words, so grammar rules are not the only ones that have nuance in them. So even if you study a word in Anki till perfection, still it doesn't mean that you're actually going to acquire that word, and even if you study it till perfection, you're probably going to end up reviewing it again when you're doing immersion. Go to the first link in the description and the first comment if you want my specific help and courses in my community, and engage with this content if you want more people to know about this.